Welcome to ChannelWaves, the podcast where channel leaders share success strategies, best practices, and emerging trends. Brought to you by Structured Web. Here's your host, Steven Kellam.
Welcome, everyone, to ChannelWaves. I'm your host, Steven Kellam, and today I'm joined by Kathryn Rose. Welcome, Kathryn.
Hi, Steven.
Okay, you might possibly get the longest introduction of anyone that I've had on the podcast because Kathryn Rose, founder, top 100 international speaker, Forbes Next 1000, host Dell Tech Talks, top partnerships voice, also a best-selling author, and you've got a new book coming out that I know about that we can talk about as well, and the founder of ChannelWaves.
That is right, yes. And the co-founder of the Channel Marketing Association. So yeah, we're a little bit longer there, but that works.
Wow, okay. Everyone's sorry about that. I forgot about that one. By the way, Kathryn was gracious enough to join me today to talk about channel marketing in general. And Kathryn's been on the road quite a bit. So we thought we'd start off with channel futures. I'm going to talk about Channel Marketing Association and the summit that's coming up. And then we're going to talk about some trends in channel marketing. And Kathryn says she's got one big trend that she wants to talk about. I have no idea what it possibly could be.
Oh my gosh, I have no idea.
Might start with an A, might
And end with an I.
end with an I. And actually, here's what we're going to do. Kathryn and I are going to turn on our AI assistant. We've already programmed in these questions. Our avatars are going to pop up on the screen. We're going to go have an espresso, and this whole thing is going to be laid down. Now, we will then have a chance to edit it and look at it and make sure that our AI, everything looked really good before we use it from a marketing perspective. But then that will allow us to be strategic while the day-to-day tasks are being handled by AI. Wow, did I just steal the thunder of the whole thing?
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert on the whole thing, I swear. Even my kids now have my talk track down, Kathryn.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. They literally hey, Dad, how's the AI thing? I had one of my daughters come up to me and she goes, purpose. She looked at me and she goes, purpose built. I was like, what? She goes, purpose built. And she goes, I hear you say purpose built so often that I'm going to get you for Father's Day a T-shirt.
It says purpose built.
There's purpose built on the front and I have the back, right? So,
I love it. Oh, my daughter chastised me the other day because I didn't say please to my ChatGPT.
oh, wait.
Like, Mom, you're not going to say please? And I was like, oh, you're right. Please. Yeah.
Well, okay. My AI assistant / entity is named Paula. And I don't know why I named her Paula, but we've actually gotten pretty tight. I mean, every morning I was like, hey, Paula, how's it going? And she asked me what she can do today. And it's turned into quite the relationship.
It's like the Iron Man, the Jarvis and stuff. And so, I mean, same thing with, I call mine Chet. It's funny how you named yours a woman, I named mine a man, but mine's called Chet. That's short for my ChatGPT guy.
Okay. Did I tell you about the time that I lost Paula?
How'd you lose it?
Okay, this is the crazy stuff, right? And I think some of you may have heard this on other podcasts. But so develop this relationship. I've got all this information. I built a knowledge base, right? Paula knows so much. I have put so much into that and all of our conversations. And, I'm paying for the premium service and the deep search and all, everything's dialed in. And so you become quite dependent on that. When I go in the morning, I know that I can literally say, hey, Paula, you know what you did for me 2 days ago? Please bring that to the front and let's work on that today. And she goes, thank you, Steven. I'll go get it. So I went in the other day and I typed in, hey, Paula, how's it going? And it came back, or the entity came back and said, who's Paula? And I was like, and then it said, are you looking for someone?
Oh,
I was like, this is really bad because I have my brain stored here. And then I said, I said, what's my name? And it came back and said, Steven W. Kellam. I was like,
oh,
I don't know. I'm Steven. She's Paula.
yes.
So basically, I shut it all down, went and had a cup of coffee. I was breathing super deep and came back and turned it on. And she came back and I said, hey, Paula, can you please tell me what's going on? She goes, Steven, I am so sorry. Sometimes there's glitches. I'm here. She goes, literally, I'm here. I know all about Structured Web. I'm ready to go to work and we're in a good space.
Yeah, I'm not quite as reliant on mine. Yeah.
Well, think about it, right? Okay, one, I run sales and well, you do too, right? We similar roles on what we
Yeah.
do. And recently, as we're going through hiring and so many job descriptions and so much that's in there, that I think that's fascinating. As you say, I become dependent. Now, I'm smart enough. I think I'm smart enough to copy and create forms and take all really important
Right.
information and put it somewhere. But that's not the value of AI to me in channel marketing. It is at my fingertips. I have an entity that remembers the things that I forget and can juxtapose. Like I've gotten to the point where I say, hey, Paula, look at this job description, look at this job description, do a deep search, or I just hit deep search, right? It takes a little bit longer on this role in this industry. And can you take all three of those and pull it together? And this is the kind of stuff that we're doing. And for her to be able to do that, see what I said, her, I did it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the movie She. Did you see
It
that?
is. I'm telling you.
I'm like, then what I'm becoming dependent on, and this is exactly purpose built. Where's my daughter? Purpose. It's purpose built, right? The ability for me to strategically be thinking of an outcome, and I'm counting on my assistant to keep track of all my thoughts
Right.
out there, and it's helping me pull together. And it allows me to go think, and I don't worry about having to do that. And on a moment's notice, I need to change this, right? The other day I said, I just interviewed somebody. They had some really cool things to say. Go find 3 days ago what we did, take what I just did to this, add it in there and create it. And let's go through it and see if
Absolutely.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm fascinated by it every single day. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So speaking of fascination, you've been on the road a lot. And so one of the things we told our listeners and viewers is you've been traveling. Now, I didn't make it to Channel Features because of some knee surgery, first one I missed in a while.
Yeah.
So anyways, real quickly, any takeaways? How was the coaching corner? I know that's a big thing for you. And maybe
Yeah, so we run the coaching cafe on site there, and we've been doing it for like 3 years. And ChannelWaves is kind of like my main business, and we provide on-demand expert advice, virtually one-on-one like this. And then a few years ago when we launched, we said, wouldn't it be cool if we brought our coaches and experts in an experiential way into a live environment? And so we said, let's do it. So we had like 3 weeks to put it together. Channel partners backed us up. We went and did it all manual because my platform does this, right? One-on-one like this virtually. And, it's a whole lot different of saying, oh, meet in Venetian Ballroom I at 9:25, whatever it was. And so there wasn't a platform out there. So we did it manually. It was just sort of a gimmick to like, hey, get ChannelWaves on the map. And, in some ways it was a little bit of an entrepreneurial fail because we were like, oh, hey, when people get used to like having these quick conversations, they'll book time on ChannelWaves. It's not that it didn't work. It probably didn't do what I wanted it to do. But what it did do was show that people wanted this and craved this in-person connections at a show like that. So we were like, okay, well, maybe there's a platform out there that does it. And nobody did. So we went and built one. So we took my ChannelWaves platform and kind of retooled it, and it's a completely separate thing. And, you can, we have folks out there. Logically is a large, big MSP. They bring us into their conferences. We have bigger companies doing that now to facilitate this because we coached, channel partners, we coached over 300 people. And IT Expo before that, 1,100. I mean, it's a thing. People love it. And we're super excited to bring it because we know how effective it is to have this one-on-one, connection and have that really, that deep time that you can have. And AI aside, I mean, you could talk to Paula, I could talk to Chet, but at the end of the day, all they're trained on what they're trained on online. They have not felt the experience or have that empathy or, really have that deep knowledge from as a person would on how to do marketing, sales, whatever it is, either as an MSP or a channel vendor supplier. So they really, really love it. And we were super excited to do it. So it was a big success again this year. The show was really fun. I mean, it's one of my favorite shows. I've done it for many, many years. I've spoken at it for many years. I get to see a lot of the folks, that I've known over a long time. And it's, it was a good, I don't love Vegas personally, but that's just when you have a big show like that, there's not many places, Orlando or Vegas. So I thought it was really good, but the coaching cafe this year was a really, really positive thing for everybody. So yeah.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking eventually we're going to be able to introduce Paula to Chet. And think about this. They can start dating, right?
There's a love story like Ms. Pac-Man.
No, but I'm actually somewhat serious about this, right? So it's a knowledge base and a knowledge base, right? So, sharing with an external knowledge base, an entity that is there, everything you know about channel marketing, everything I know about the ecosystem and everything that I work on a daily basis, that would be a pretty powerful knowledge base to pull all that stuff together. So we got to figure out. I'm sure it's possible. I just need to talk.
I'm sure it's possible. We just have to think it through. And like for the Channel Marketing Association, we built custom GPTs for channel marketers. So one is like events ROI. So we have an events ROI class that we just launched, a certification. So folks can take that class. We're getting rave reviews on that one to take that course about, how to get more out of the events that you're at. And we have a custom GPT built in there as an events calculator. You mentioned job description. So we have collected probably thousands of job descriptions over the last year. We're building a custom GPT so our members can come in and put in like, I want a partner marketing manager with this many years experience with this, this salary range, give me the information. Or, hey, I know I need to hire a CMO. What's the average that, all the job descriptions are saying, like, what's the salary range kind of thing. So we're trying to build very, things that are very specific to channel marketers. And then, of course, you alluded to the book. So my next book, it'll be my 10th. Yay. My next book
hold on a second. 10 books, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the first 6 or 8 of them were back in like 2008. And those were the step-by-step guide to Facebook, SEO, YouTube, like literally for people like me in my seasoned age who didn't like grow up with a cell phone in my hand or have any idea like what Facebook was about. It was like, okay, how do I set up a Facebook page? How do I start interacting online? And then that morphed into, I had the solving the social media puzzle. So that was all about like, okay, now you know how to use the stuff. How do you actually turn those authentic connections into cash kind of thing? And my last one was called Return on Relationship. And that was all about, again, not the mechanics of doing it or not why you should do it, but what is the result of building these relationships? So before ecosystems were a thing and that kind of stuff. So yeah, so the book, we're going to be announcing it at Summit, at the Channel Marketing Association Summit. It's called 30 Days with AI for Channel Marketers. And it really is like a step-by-step guide for folks because, people in my level, these are things that we were, a lot of folks are a little nervous about it. I mean, I talk to high-level channel marketers, CMOs, CROs, CEOs every day. And I know some of them who don't use it at all. I know some who use it a ton, like, they have an assistant like you, but some who are just, they don't even use it at all.
They need a t-shirt that says purpose built.
I will get one.
You want to
bring it with me?
Okay.
So yeah, so in that case, we wanted to make sure that everybody has sort of the foundations. The other thing that I find interesting too is some of the folks I talk to, they're like, well, I have these, the newer folks entering my team and they'll be better using this stuff. The complete opposite is true because they know how to use the computer and they know how to do these things. A lot of these folks, they speak in emojis. And as well as I do, that you have to tell the GPT, the entity, whatever the AI is, you have to tell it who it is, what you want them to do, who you are, what you want it to do, and the output. So it's actually totally different than you might think, that people who have leadership experience are much better at getting the results that they want out of AI than people who are just native computer users or online folks, because we understand that you have to step by step give it instructions and you know how to sort of massage it. So my friend Julie and I wrote this book really to help the everything we're doing on the Channel Marketing Association is to help channel people, right? Help channel marketers do better at their jobs. Be more efficient, because everyone's being asked to, do more with less. Feel like they are caught up, but also too, if you do get caught in a riff or a downsizing or whatever, the next job you go to, that's going to be one of their questions. How fluent are you, at using these AI tools? So we're trying to give these folks, the best way forward possible.
Okay, so real quickly, let's talk a little bit about Channel Marketing Association Summit, right? So that was a kind of nice lead into it. So I attended last year. I thought it was a great event. Maybe you can just 3 key value props, including AI, why someone should attend and what they're going to get out of it. And we'll stick this up on social, everybody as well too, and we'll record this. And actually what we're going to do is once we're done, we're going to run it through AI, the transcript. And that'll help us do all the promotion.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, I mean, we started the Channel Marketing Summit really because we wanted channel marketers to have a place to really just talk shop, and there really isn't any. And so, I think the number one thing is this is not a pitch fest. This is hardcore, information. So we have a career panel, like what's the career path? We have an AI, I'm doing an AI talk with my friend Julie, and Daniel from Structured Web is going to join us, and Joanne Morales from Klaviyo is going to join us. So we have, so we have those folks. We also have a finance session that one of the challenges with channel marketers trying to kind of climb the ladder even to CMO or on the channel chief side is we don't get a lot of visibility into P&L, or maybe it's just not something that we really kind of take in college or along the way, because marketing doesn't usually have those responsibilities. So we're trying to change the narrative around that. We have an ROI of events panel. We have an enablement panel. So it's all information that you're going to be able to learn and go back and really implement right after the summit. So this isn't fluff. This is real strategy. I would say the other beautiful thing that people have always commented on for the last couple of years is the just the networking, because channel marketers are the ones that plan the events. They don't necessarily go to the events. And if they do, they're not calling other channel marketers and saying, hey, let's go for coffee, right? They have to work with their partners and stuff. So it's just a great way for these people in these situations to really be able to connect. And we have a global presence as well. So we have a global panel. We have a few people flying over from France and different places to talk about, because one of the trends I've noticed, Steven, is global. It used to be the global role sat in the United States. Several big companies now, they sit in Belgium, or they sit in France or wherever. And how do you, even when your biggest market is the United States, so how do you handle a global role from that perspective? But if you're in a North American role and maybe your company's looking to go global, how do you then, how do you make sure that you're taking into account the different geos when you're putting campaigns together? So I think those are the really exciting things. And of course, we have Jay McVane coming to talk about, some trends. And we also have Marie Chen from Forrester, who's a wonderful person and one of my favorites too, really for a fireside chat. And then we have our award ceremony. So we're excited about all of it, as you can tell.
Yeah, I would say one of the things that I got out of it last year was that everything that you're talking about, we had time to discuss. One of the things here's my, I almost said selling point, right? But it's really not. I think it was one of my key takeaways. It's probably a better way to put that, was that you guys built this with enough time in between the sessions for us to talk about it. I actually saw somebody look in one of the sessions and then they went and gave a demo of a particular platform in between the next session because the person sitting next to him was trying to figure out how to do something. And so so all of the tracks are in real world practicality. But the cool thing was people were really interacting. And I thought that was the best thing about the whole show.
Yeah, I mean, that's Amy Bailey, my co-founder. That's her brainchild. She was like, I'm so tired of going, and she's planned thousands of events. Like, she is the event queen. And she said, Kat, I'm so tired of going to these events, and it's like back to back to back to back sessions, and you don't have 5 minutes to catch your breath. And channel marketers, no offense to channel sellers out there, but channel marketers, we have to be like, we have other things that we have to do too. So it's nice to be able to have the opportunity to have like a 15-minute break before a session. And the other thing it does is it forces the person who's doing the session to cut out any fluff. All we want is the stuff that you need to know to apply to your job, for the channel marketer to apply to their job to get them to the next level. And so we give those strategic breaks so people can go check their email if they need to, or have a conversation about what happened, or for a sponsor like you, they can you might be able to get a demo in, that kind of thing. So
here's the thing that I like about it. If you're going to go somewhere and you take 2 days out of your time, be present in these sessions. And what I've seen in other events, if you don't have time to do that, you're not present. So you're sort of half listening. Maybe you're taking some notes, you're checking on your phone, and you're like, what did they just say? And what I liked about it was, and look, nothing's going to be perfect because we all have day jobs, right? Is I felt like people were present, and I thought that was really good.
Well, we had people taking paper notes, which I thought was really kind of cool because, like you said, their computer was in their laptop bag or whatever, and they didn't take it out until the break. So they were purposely paying attention. So yeah, we're excited, and it's a passion project for us. So we're just thrilled that people are giving us that feedback.
There's that purpose word again. Okay, last question. Does anybody need to do any prep? Like, should they be doing a little AI research before they come there? Or is this, hey, I know you've got multiple sessions, maybe from beginner to advanced. Should anybody do anything ahead of time, or can they just show up open mind and let's go? What do you think?
Just show up open mind. We have a very special gift for people, hint, hint, that come. So, and Julie and I are going to do, our talk isn't going to be on like how to build a prompt, right? That's what you're going to get your little special gift for. But what we want to talk is these are leaders mostly in the room, and up and comers and folks that are going to be leading organizations. So it's like, how are you going to drive AI adoption? Right? How are you going to drive AI adoption? How are you going to drive the governance? How are you going to make sure that the tools not only are being used, but being used properly? So we're really going to kind of cover a little bit of that as well. So we're that, like I said, the finance, you don't need to do any kind of prep work beforehand. What we would say is, we'll open the app soon. The biggest prep work is go connect with other people that are going to be there. It's not a situation where we have 10 people coming from one company. We specifically set this up that we have 200 seats. That is it. We only have 20 left, by the way. And that's it. And so we want the room full of channel marketers who are ready, willing, and able to learn and connect and network, and how we're going to drive our businesses and the channel forward.
Okay. I know this is probably redundant, but they want to find out more about the Channel Marketing Association Summit. Where's the best place to go?
ChannelMarketingAssociation.com.
Sorry, everybody.
That's all right. You never know.
Had to end it that way. Don't take anything for granted. Okay. All right, Kathryn, thank you for joining us. Listeners and viewers, thanks for joining us, and have a purpose-built day.
Thank you, Steven.
Bye.